Welcome back, everyone. You've seen the pictures. Sun-drenched Adobe, a picturesque backdrop. But Taos Pueblo is so much more than just a pretty facade. Forget your typical tourist experience. We're going to go deep into the heart of a culture that has resisted time, unveiling the captivating narratives and enduring spirit of this remarkable 1,000-year-old community. So I'm driving on a mountain pass, having just passed into New Mexico from a remote part of southern Colorado, doing 65 miles an hour, when a notification pops up on my dash that says, low tire. I'm like, oh crap. I don't know if it's serious or not, or if we'll make it to the next town, because we were still like 100 miles from our destination of Taos, which happens to be the biggest town out there. My wife and I had camped at Pagosa Springs, and at the end of that trip, we extended it for a few days down into Taos, New Mexico. We slept in, and then we headed down on Highway 84. It wasn't too long until we hit the state line, which was a new achievement for me. We were also breaking in the new 4Runner, which was fantastic. We kept cruising until we hit Highway 64, which wanders through the Carson National Forest. Now, prior to this trip, I had certain expectations in my head of what New Mexico would be like. I'd seen, pictures of the desert, so I was expecting something kind of like that. However, when we entered into the Carson National Forest, I was really surprised at first of all, how high in elevation we were, and how much it looked like our home here in Woodland Park at 8,000 feet. We stopped at a rest stop near the top to take some pictures and stretch our legs a little bit. As we broke out of the Carson National Forest, we all of a sudden were in the desert. It was wild. It was amazing how suddenly the landscape changed. We kept cruising on toward Taos, with me keeping a close eye on the tire pressure. When we got close to the town, we stopped at the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge, which you hit before getting to town. Once again, there's this amazing bridge over a super deep canyon just seemingly in the middle of nowhere, which I was not expecting. My wife and I parked and walked around the bridge for a few minutes, and I was also taking in the mountains that were up above the town. And once again, I just had no idea that New Mexico looked like this. After getting our tire situation fixed in town, we walked around the downtown a little bit. We found a great little chocolate shop called Chocola, where I got a chocolate chai ice cream that was unbelievable. If you ever go to Taos, stop downtown at Chocola and get their chocolate chai ice cream. You will thank me later. We continued our trek on to Taos Pueblo. Amber had told me a little bit about it, but I really didn't know much besides that it was something worth seeing if you're in Taos. I decided to take my camera on the trek around the town. I was immediately struck with how amazing the buildings were. They were all made of traditional Adobe, which is a material that's made from local clay, sand, silt, water, and straw. And that's it. The roofs are made of using large wooden beams along with mats of branches, grasses, and mud before applying another Adobe plaster that covers everything up. When you go, you can walk into some of these buildings, and I definitely recommend doing that. You can see the plaster. You can even see some of the straw sticking out of the plaster in a few places. You can also see the roofs, see the wooden planks that they use in the roof. And if you're tall like me, you can also get a feel for just how low many of these ceilings are. It's pretty wild. And then when you look at some of these other larger structures, you can see they have different stories. I think the highest one that I saw was maybe 3 stories or something like that. But they get to these different stories through ladders, just on the outside. So I can't imagine, you know, living on the 3rd story and just climbing up a ladder outside to get up to your house. That's pretty wild. One of the other things that I noticed was they cook in outdoor stoves, which are also made of Adobe, and then they have like a chimney coming up. But it's wild. It appears that they still live that way, and they still use those, which is amazing. In the center of the town was the church, which was beautiful. Amber and I walked inside for a few minutes, and I'm so glad we did, because it was just amazing. If you go to Taos Pueblo, go in the church, definitely. There's a creek that runs through the town, and it kind of splits the town in two. And some of the adobe houses had indigenous people selling handmade pottery and other items. We admired the pottery, and we chatted with some of the ladies who sell them. Definitely check out the pottery when you go. These ladies make everything by hand, ladies and gentlemen, make everything by hand, and it's really amazing what they do. When we talked to the ladies, one of the ladies really focused on how important it is for her to pass on what she does to younger generations, so that the way that they live gets passed on to the next generation, and they can continue the traditions that they've had for thousands of years. It's really amazing that a place like this exists, and that the history and the traditions are still what they are today. They're still what they were thousands of years ago. Taos Pueblo is a very amazing and unique place. You can see that the people who still live here live in a similar way to how they did many years ago. If you go to Taos, you should definitely take the time to visit Taos Pueblo. It's like a time capsule to a time that would have otherwise have been forgotten. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, you've seen the pictures. Sun-drenched adobe. Blah.